Alright guys, welcome back. I'm going to be talking about high-level HBM, more so HBM S and T. I have one guy on iOS testing this base right now. He currently reached T5 3 times. Not quite sure how many times, but just reaching T5 is actually quite the feat itself. And he said this was probably one of the better bases that he has used, or it's the first time that he actually got into T5 was using this base. So it's got to be doing something right. Now, as far as the design, I'm still going to tweak it a little bit. I think I can find some extra walls every here and there. So I might try and do some more backpathing, but that's beyond the point. Don't mind the cannon towers. I was just doing some testing. But we're going to talk about heroes, and more specifically, hero crests and talents. Your main 6, everybody knows what their main 6 are for HBM. You got Druid, Santa, PD, Vlad, Moltanica, and Cupid. Now, for S and T, most people run a base something similar to this, and on their front one, you're going to want Vlad. He is going to tank the dragons, the copters, Moltanica, Cupid, Grizzly Reaper. He's going to take all that aggro, and he's going to do an excellent job of tanking that front wave, and he is the only hero that can do that. After that, you're going to probably want Cupid over here. So Cupid right here. And then you got Druid over here. And then I'd put Moltanica in the right slot, and I'd put Santa in the left slot closer to Druid. Now that you got the hero placement and the base set out, I'm going to be talking about crests and talents. Druid, he's going to be an easy one. You're going to want Berserk 4 or higher, and then you're going to want Slow Down as high as you can get it. Most people that are doing T have a slowdown 4, and slowdown has massive crest boosts for attack, so that'll actually help Druid's heal out. If you can hear that, that's my dog scratching away like a beast. But Druid, Zerk, slowdown, so he's going to have 4 slowdown. And then once you have Santa and Moltanica, that boss on T4, when he walks down here, he should be permaslowed depending on where he ends up. Since Druid right around here is when Druid will pop in for the slowdown over here, but if he comes on that left side, he's done. But Santa does a pretty good job of getting over there and proccing on him. Same with Moltanica, and that'll really help get it started. Then let's pretend Spirit Mage is Cupid. For the most part, I know Revet isn't very good HBM talent. In fact, it's an awful talent. But on Cupid, sometimes if you don't get off on a good foot on HBM S and T, you're going to be playing behind the 8 ball, and you're just not going to get the momentum. You'll kind of notice that you're always playing behind the 8 ball, or heroes are a little bit under healed, and you're losing buildings. But having a Cupid 5 Revite will help everybody get past T1 or S1 wave and get everybody started, because that's when you start to get your revits all staggered, and that's pretty much what you want for Vlad, Santa, and Molt, is to stagger those. stagger those procs. And then for a secondary crest on Cupid, 3 of 5 Berserk. No need to go higher. Any higher is pretty much useless. Doesn't really do much. And then PD is going to be 4 Zerk with as high a revive as you can get. And that's pretty easy. And then that leaves Vladimir Putin, Santa Boom, and Grizzly Reaper, who is going to act like Moltanica. These 3 are some of the most versatile heroes that you have in HBM. There is a ton of crests that everybody just loves and swears by. But the reason they love and swear by them is because these heroes are just so overpowered that it seems like their hero is the best ever. But in reality, every Vlad is like the best ever just because his proc is good. So we're going to look at why their proc is good and how to enhance their proc. And how to maybe get them to proc more often. Life Drain, anything HBMR and below, Life Drain is just a fun talent. I mean, I can't disagree with anybody that says they want to put Life Drain on Vlad or Santa just because it's really fun. The guy that is doing HBMT right now has Life Drain on Vlad and Santa. He wishes he had something else on there, but it's still working for him. I mean, with inscription levels and crest levels, the crest bonuses, they will even itself out as far as how overpowered your hero is and how well he will be able to tank. But for Vlad, a lot of people say Life Drain. A lot of people say Revive is a good one. I'm going to go here and onto the casual class wiki, and I'll name off some other talents that aren't bad at all for him. Berserk. A lot of people like Berserk just so he procs faster. Now, with having a Cupid and a PD, that Berserk, it does help. I'm not going to say it doesn't help, but how much does it help is the question. Maybe he might get one more proc off per session of HBM, maybe. But I'm just a little bit unsure about that one, especially on heroes like this. I mean, once you have a Cupid, they should all be staggered for the most part anyways, and I guess maybe that 0.4 seconds could save you, but I'm going to talk about a couple other ones that I know will help and will be active all the time. Another one for Vlad they like is Sprint. When he's up here on the HBM OPQ, and somewhere around Q is when it starts to change, or in Vlad procs, and he doesn't kill all the heroes, that is when you need to take Sprint off of Vlad, because now it's on like HBMP, Vlad comes up here, he procs, he clears everything out, and then while his proc is still on, he comes down here and he clears all this junk out on the bottom right. That's when Sprint is just amazing. But if Vlad comes up here quick, and with Sprint, he'll get there faster, and then he'll start hitting quicker, and then he procs. But if he's still leaving 2 or 3 heroes, Sprint isn't as valuable as it once was. Tenacity. As far as tenacity goes, if you think your Vlad is really good with tenacity, with all that HP, and he heals with his HP and all this stuff, just upping your inscription level will help even that out as far as how much HP you gain from tenacity. Now, once he's at inscription level 100 and he has tenacity, he will have a higher cap level of HP. But there's a couple other crests that I think are a little bit better. And I'm going to be talking about 3 of them for these 3 heroes. Grizz Reaper's Molt, by the way. It's going to be War God. It's going to be Stone Skin. And it's going to be Flame Guard. Okay. Now, for Vlad and Santa, if you were building a perfect HPM team, I would put War God 5 as a main talent on both of these heroes, just because I want their procs to absolutely decimate everything, and I mean everything. And S&T, the Moltanica, even the regular Moltanica, is a pain in the ass to deal with. And if Vlad and Santa could take that Moltanica down and even leave it with like 1 hit left, that'd be pretty amazing. And for their secondary crests, I actually like Stone Skin. And with Santa and Vlad, their procs are absolutely massive, and they're going to help clear out waves. And you want talents and crests that actually help them out. War God helps that out immensely. Now, Stone Skin doesn't necessarily help them out as far as the proc damage and all that stuff goes, but it effectively raises their HP by reducing the damage taken by 25%. And if you can reduce that damage taken, that Molt, I think it's like a level 212 Molt, and it probably has inscription levels of like 100. That thing hits pretty hard. And if you can take a quarter of that damage away, your heroes are much more likely to survive. So that's kind of why I like Stone Skin. I mean, I like Flame Guard as well, but as far as Vlad and Santa go, I think I'd rather take that 5% because it's not getting multiplied on top of anything else. If you were to do this with like a Paladin, I would go with Flame Guard, just because that extra 5% isn't 5%. It doesn't add on, it multiplies on. So once you multiply that with Paladins, it actually gets much, much smaller. So it's not as effective as a 20% reflect in damage. And Molt is probably the hero that has the most different kinds of talent crest combos that you can think of. And it all depends on what you think Moltanica is. Is Moltanica a wave clear hero? Is it a tank hero? Can it be a self-healer hero if you put life drain on it? Because Moltanica's HP pool is so huge that a 5/5 life drain just heals for so much, and you can almost call that a self-healer, because if she procs, you're reducing the damage taken by 80%, and then you can just think of her as a tank. And where she's at, she's in the back spawn location, and for the most part, you're going to want back pops in order to beat S&T, and you're going to need a hero that can tank for a while on that giant Moltanica. You need somebody who can take a couple hits. And I'm going to be doing some math here. 0.8. All right. Excuse the break in my video. I'm just trying to do some math here. So 0.2 for Moltanica for 80%. And that's going to be times by 0.8 for Flame Guard. Maybe times by 0.75. So I think it's around 88% effectiveness. So Moltanica 0.2. Yep. Sorry for that. So if you have Flame Guard and Stone Skin on Moltanica, or maybe a Life Drain Stone Skin if you want, and the Moltanica procs, that Moltanica will be able to tank, or it will reduce the giant Moltanica to only hitting for 12% of what it usually does. Now the proc is going to be a problem because you can't reduce proc damage, but as far as the hits goes, the Moltanica should be able to withstand 3 or 4, and that should be more than enough for PD and Cupid and Druid to start stacking to help you defeat S-Wave. I know it's been a long video, and I'd like to thank you guys for sticking with me, for listening to me rant about this, but thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.